In the seconds right after the cameras think they've stopped rolling, two completely different stars ended up revealing the same thing about themselves, and almost nobody noticed the pattern connecting them. This is Rabbit News Hallyu, and we're not talking about a scandal tonight. We're talking about what happens in the gap between the performance and the person. On August 8, Tian Xiwei walked off the set of a gaming-themed fan night, still in character, still in a heavy costume wig that had been glued and pinned to her scalp for hours. Then, instead of heading straight to her car with the wig intact, she pulled it off before she reached the airport. No touch-up. No styling team standing by with a backup fringe. Just a bare forehead, flattened natural hair, and a completely different face walking through the terminal than the one that had just left the stage. The next day, roughly 1,000 kilometers away, Zhang Linghe landed at Guangzhou airport for a Weibo adventure event. He didn't do what most idols do in that situation, head down, straight line to the car, security forming a wall around him. He stopped. He turned his head, scanned the crowd, squinted into the distance, and kept looking until he found the fans holding signs with his fan club name on them. Only then did he wave. Two unrelated stars, two unrelated schedules, two unrelated stories, and yet both moments share the same underlying anomaly, a beat where the public performance briefly drops and something less rehearsed takes over. That's the detail worth sitting with, because it's not really about hairstyles or fan etiquette at all. Let's start with Tian Xiwei, because the internet had actually built a narrative around her hair months before this happened. She'd been nicknamed, somewhat unkindly, as the actress with the same bangs across 16 dramas, a running joke about aesthetic sameness, about an image so consistent it started to look less like a signature and more like a constraint. So when she showed up without the bangs entirely, bare forehead and all, it wasn't just a styling choice. It landed as a rupture in a narrative fans and critics had already written for her. The reaction split almost instantly. Some viewers said they barely recognized her, that her most identifiable feature had vanished overnight. Others jumped to defend her, pointing out the obvious: she'd worn a heavy costume wig for hours, her real hair was pressed flat underneath, and this was never meant to be a public look in the first place. Both reactions were really responding to the same tension, the gap between the version of Tian Xiwei that exists as a maintained public image and the version that exists late at night after a costume comes off. Here's the detail most coverage skipped entirely: her team didn't ignore the moment or try to bury it. Earlier this month, when the bangs debate flared up again, her management responded by resurfacing something she'd said herself: pretty with bangs, pretty without bangs. Not a denial. Not damage control. A one-line reframe that took a potential liability and folded it back into her own voice. But there's a bigger factual wrinkle in that 16 dramas, one hairstyle a narrative, and it's worth correcting on the record. It's not actually accurate. In several of her projects, she's worn her hair away from her forehead, floral sweeping the fringe back, updos, later episode styling shifts tied to character arcs rather than personal preference. The identical bangs story was always a flattened version of a more complicated reality, and flattened versions travel faster online than accurate ones. And that's the detail that quietly reframes the whole controversy. This wasn't really a hairstyle malfunction, it was a scheduled character look, worn correctly, removed on schedule, photographed at the wrong moment for someone else's narrative. The no bangs panic wasn't about Tian Xiwei changing. It was about an audience mistaking a costume transition for an identity crisis. Now here's where it gets interesting, because there's a detail buried in this story that changes how you should read the whole thing. Back in June, on a variety show, Tian Xiwei revealed she'd given her signature bangs a name, Vivian, her own English name. That's not a small thing. Taking the exact feature the internet has used to needle her and giving it a name is a quiet act of reclaiming the narrative before anyone else gets to write it for her. It suggests a level of self-awareness about her own image management that most fan discourse doesn't give her credit for. Now shift to Zhang Linghe, because his airport moment operates on a completely different mechanic, even though it triggers the same public fascination with unscripted behavior. Idol scanning a crowd for fans isn't new. What made this one travel was the visible effort, the repeated head turns, the squinting, the refusal to just wave generically and move on. Fans on site described his expression as sleepy but eager, like a cat poking its head out, and that specific phrase spread because it captured something that felt involuntary rather than performed. Fans nicknamed him a human scanner, which sounds like a joke, but it's actually describing a pattern they'd clocked before. There's a documented history here, photographing fans in the rain after a rap party, rolling down a car window early in the morning just to acknowledge people waiting outside a set, making a point of bowing and waving in every direction after filming raps instead of exiting through the nearest gap in the crowd. The airport scan wasn't an isolated cute moment. It was one more data point in a pattern fans had already started tracking. So here's the curiosity gap worth sitting with for a second: neither of these moments was staged, and neither was really about the audience the way it looked. Tian Xiwei wasn't performing vulnerability by removing her wig, she just wanted the wig off. Zhang Linghe wasn't performing devotion by scanning the crowd, he was checking, out of habit, whether the people who'd shown up were somewhere he could see them. What made both moments spread wasn't the content itself. It was the accidental visibility of something produced in an industry where almost everything visible is produced. That's the pattern worth naming directly, in an industry where every red carpet expression, every drama promo, every live stream moment is planned down to the camera angle. The split-second gaps between performances have become one of the most valuable currencies an artist has. Not because agencies are manufacturing them, quite the opposite. Their power comes specifically from not being manufacturable. You can schedule a wig removal. You can't schedule what someone's face does when the wig actually comes off. That has real consequences for how management teams operate right now. A visible transition moment can either become a liability that requires a statement, or it can become proof of authenticity that no amount of paid promotion could buy. Tian Xiwei's team chose the second path by leaning into her own words instead of issuing a correction. Zhang Linghe's side didn't need to manage anything at all, because the moment read as positive from the start. But both cases point to the same underlying shift: agencies increasingly have to treat the unscripted seconds around an event, not just the event itself, as part of the actual public narrative. That's a meaningfully different job than image management used to be. It used to mean controlling what got photographed. Now it means anticipating what happens in the frames nobody planned for, because those are the frames audiences seem to trust the most. It's also worth noting how differently international audiences are reading these two clips compared to domestic ones. Overseas fan communities tend to engage with Tian Xiwei's moment through a beauty standard lens, debating whether bangs are doing more work than her actual features, while Zhang Linghe's clip travels internationally almost entirely as a parasocial warmth story, stripped of the fan club context that gave it meaning at home. Same raw footage, two different interpretive frameworks, depending on which platform and which language it lands in first. That's its own small case study in how unscripted content gets recontextualized as it crosses borders, often losing the original nuance along the way. Zoom out, and this fits a broader pattern across Chinese entertainment this year: shorter promotional cycles, heavier reliance on fan-captured footage over official releases, and an audience that has grown visibly skeptical of anything that looks too polished. Airport moments, once dismissed as filler content for fan accounts, have become one of the few remaining formats audiences treat as reliable evidence of who an artist actually is between performances. That shift is also changing what counts as content in the first place. A decade ago, an idol pausing to look for fans wouldn't have made it past a fancam upload. Today it's treated as a legitimate data point in a running narrative about who someone is. None of this means either star is doing anything calculated. If anything, that's the point: the moments that read as most genuine are the ones nobody could have planned, which is exactly why they're becoming harder for agencies to replicate on purpose and impossible for them to fully ignore when they happen. If you like entertainment stories that go past the headline, the kind that catch the quiet signals most coverage skips entirely, Rabbit News Hallyu is built exactly for that. Subscribe if you want analysis, not just news.